I have a lesson for you on some legato technique, how to use it in a musical situation, right? How to combine it with licks. So for this lesson, we'll be in the key of D minor. I'm playing over a jam track, a D minor chord to an F major, to a C major, to B flat. Then the second time around, a D minor chord, F, C. Let me show you a couple scales that we're going to build these techniques from. We're in the key of D minor, and over this progression, D natural minor or D Aeolian works great, as does D minor pentatonic, D blues. All great scales to commingle together over this track. So let me just show you a couple different D natural minor scales, D Aeolian. First one off of our root note D on the 10th fret, low E string. Here we'll use this one off of the 5th fret A string root, D. And maybe we'll use this one with the pinky on the D note. 5th fret A string looks like this. So now that we got our scales, let's get into the technique. That's just one example of how you could take this legato pattern and start to make it into licks and melodic motifs. So right out of that D natural minor scale. So when I play the lick slow, it'll sound like this. I'm doing a bend up to the D note, so 13 to 15 fret whole step. I let it down, and then I pull off 13, 11, 10. Hammer back 10. But it's fast. You know, almost with that pattern. There's your legato, right? And then I slide up from that 11 to 13th fret, and then a long slide all the way down to the 6th fret. And I finish the lick on that D note, come over the D minor chord. If you want just a little variation on that, play a legato phrase, but then end it with a bend. And that's a cool thing that you could do in any scale. So if I slow that down, here's the pattern. So I'm doing pick, pull, pull, hammer, hammer, pull, pull. But that last pull, pull into a half step bend. Right? And that's cool. Like I did that down here on the B string. Here's the pattern. And it on the D. You do that concept or that device anywhere 3 notes on the same string, and it'll give you tons and tons of licks. Take that to the next step. What you could do is do on adjacent strings the same pattern. For instance, in this D natural minor scale, on the high E string we have this, and on the B string. So do that pattern on the high E this time, right? And then on the B string, and end it with a bend. And then I went down to the G, another bend. But basically what I'm doing, same thing as before technique-wise, except now I'm doing it on multiple strings, ending it with a bend. One of the tricks of this type of legato, where you're jumping strings, is you have to be able to quickly pick the next string up or down, because you're starting the legato phrase each time with a pick. So basically, pick, pull, pull, hammer, hammer, pull, pull, pick on the B string. And usually my first pick on the high E is a down, then I come with an upstroke. And I'm using this technique to catapult me into, you know, string bends, slides, more bends, vibrato, long slides, vibrato, right? So it's like a springboard. In part of the solo I did something like this, where I was doing that hammers and pulls on one string. So I know in D natural minor, I have, you know, F, E, D, C, right? And then then at B flat, A, G, F on one string. So if you know those notes, then you could start doing cool things with hammers and pulls, like slide. I'll do a pick, hammer, pull, slide. Right? And then you could kind of take that and start moving it around on the string. And you get all these cool kinds of licks. And then you could add in 3 notes, because I know I'm right here in this shape I showed you before, or this shape. And then you can start connecting them and jumping strings. And again, now you're talking because you're really starting to connect. Once you start seeing that, seeing these notes, the ideas will start popping in your head. So just take as an exercise, even if you start with one finger. Try to play all the notes just on one string, in whatever scale you're working on, and then slide down with a hammer and pull, and then start moving that. Maybe backing up 1. Right? And then you could start really feeling practice getting those patterns, those hammers and pulls strong, and creating them into licks. Have fun with them. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, because that really helps us to keep the content coming, as well as then you'll be notified when we have new lessons up. And don't forget to click on that link in the YouTube description box and get my free killer blues rock soloing video lesson and ebook. Keep having fun with those guitars, right? Keep up all that hard work, and remember, your guitar playing is an evolution. Take care and rock on.